All right, thank you for tuning in today. We won't spend a whole lot of time on this, but these are identifications on the alligator that you would see on page 362. Okay, so all of these can be found on page 362. Okay, and with that, okay, there's also another diagram that we want you to know, and that's of the snake. And that can be found on, I didn't think I was going backwards, but I guess I did. Went the wrong way. And your other diagram this isn't supposed to be this difficult. 362 for the alligator. I guess I just didn't go far enough. Okay. Page 370. It's got this picture of this snake, like so. And that's all of them. That's figure 1821, and that's on page 370. Okay. And I know one of the questions on your paper, I don't know what the specific words or specific way the question's worded, but how it says refer to page 362, and how do, I think it's respiration, digestion, and excretion, no, not respiration. How do digestion, excretion, and reproduction all fit into the same category when you look at page 362 with the alligator? Okay, so what we're referring to is this diagram of the alligator, and what I did is I just went right around all these diagrams and marked these down that we want you to know. Okay, and with that, of course, left and right ventricle, the pulmonary artery, pulmonary vein, so just a little clarification there. But when we look here, this structure here, it's more commonly, it's called the cloaca, and that's what we're talking about here. Why is it that all of them tie into one? The cloaca is more associated with that of birds, but animals that predate the birds is that of the reptiles. And we'll get into that a little later on when we get to the avian chapter, but these all tie into the same category. This is digestion. Okay, this is excretion, and then this is reproduction. So what we see happening here, and as you can see, this red spiral structure, that's the kidney. Then right beneath it, as we see the testes, and there we see the end of the colon, or the small intestine. And what happens is they all dump into the cloaca, so all three of those structures, digestion, reproduction, and excretion, all empty into the cloaca, and that's why that question is worded the way that it is. Okay, and then one of the aspects that we'll spend time on perhaps tomorrow, whether it's in class, in person, or what we'll spend time on here, is that of what we want you to know for your essay portion. Because the very next time that I see you, okay, that's going to be exam part one. It wouldn't be tomorrow, okay? If we're in session tomorrow, we'll review. But as I look outside, I think everyone would agree, chances of us being in-person learning tomorrow are probably fairly small, okay? So we'll go over and review tomorrow, and if we're back in session on Friday, that's when your exam part one will be. You have your vocabulary that was handed back to you, okay? And then just general questions would be that of part one. This is part two, okay? You have the snake and the alligator as part of your identifications, and then one essay. And then don't forget, page 370 is that for your snake diagram, and it's all of them. It's not a whole lot. What you would envision, okay? It's a rattlesnake that's on there, so you can have fangs, venom, or not venom. You can't, because you can't see it. fangs, venom duct, okay? And I don't know if it's not venom tube, it wouldn't be called that. The venom duct, that's what I was trying to think of. And of course you have nostrils because, as we had seen, type of food gathering aspect that these animals do is they can sense heat, so they got heat sensing pits. And then one of the things that we're going to talk about is how can these animals swallow something that's actually much larger than their mouth. Well, as we can see, their jaws can actually hinge wide open and go sideways as well. Well, how do they not choke? Well, what this diagram illustrates, but it can't do that in real time, but when we see that in this video, that glottis, but more importantly epiglottis, is a tube tied to respiration, so that will actually protrude itself outwards, and since it's composed of cartilage, it will not collapse. So that's how they can swallow something much larger than their mouth and also their pharynx or their throat, and then not choke on something that extreme. Okay, so that's for another time and another place. Okay, go ahead. You might want to hit pause if you needed to. Get these down on page 362 and then page 370, and we'll go over more content tomorrow. We wanted to keep this short. You're the lucky ones. Other classes, it seems like I get upwards around 20 minutes, but that's all I have. So tune in next time, and we'll expand upon this a little further. In short, your big essay would be that of the snakes, okay? Because there's 4 families, okay? Why are they associated in different families, and giving an example of each type. So that's what we'll have for you next time. So that's when we'll catch up to you, is next time. Stay warm.